This video was prompted by a user having problems with disappearing drums when playing his song on some external devices, but not others. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already know this type of problem is caused by out-of-phase signals. They sound okay on devices which play back in stereo, but cancel out when played back on a mono device. In this user's case, the speaker on his cell phone. The phase issues can be more subtle. For example, they're used for artificial reverb effects, so it highlights the importance of always checking how your mix sounds in mono. Now, some devices have dedicated mono buttons for this, but not the DP machine. So, hint to the Tascam designers, this would be a useful firmware update. Meanwhile, what we need is a device which can mix together the left and right sides of the stereo master output and allow us to listen to it. So, can we use the machine itself? Now, I always thought that when the machine is in mastering mode, none of the other controls, such as knobs and faders, are active. But I tried dabbing a finger on an input cable with the trim turned up full, and the overload light came on. This confirmed the input circuitry is still live, although this isn't too surprising as that's the analog section. The real question was how much of the digital section is available in mastering mode. You'd think very little, as the processor is tied up with mastering, but amazingly it turns out the send system still works. This means we could connect the master output to a pair of inputs, say A and B, route them both to a send output, say send 2, to get a mono mix, and then use the monitor select option to switch between the stereo output, which is your master mix, and the send output, which is a mono mix of inputs A and B. Now, you need to be in multi-track mode to enable the sends. And you also need to assign the two inputs to the stereo bus, otherwise the sends won't work. And to avoid confusion, make sure nothing else is assigned. I note that in mastering mode the stereo bus is not used. As we saw in the other videos on mastering, the signal path avoids the stereo bus completely. So we just need a signal to connect to these inputs. But note, we cannot use the monitor output jacks, as we're going to use the monitor select button to change what we're monitoring. But you can use the stereo RCA outputs, which are independent of the monitor outputs. So you'll need a pair of RCA or phono to jack cables. Connect the left output to input A and the right output to input B. Now, please be careful with this to avoid feedback. I've only got one good year left, so as a precaution I turned all levels down and removed my headphones. Now, with the sends up full at 127, I found the input trims need to be on the third marking so the levels match. But you can do this yourself by watching the meter on the mastering screen. Now, just remember to undo the settings when you're finished, or at least turn off the sends to avoid feedback accidents in future. Here's an example. This song has a mono melody on track 1 and stereo drums on tracks 9 and 10. Now, forgive the crappy sound, I just made a simple copy-paste loop on the fly to avoid copyright strikes, and if anyone claims this song, well, good luck to them. I've deliberately turned on the phase setting for track 9 but not track 10, and you can see how easy it is to miss this. The only difference is a graphic which is light or dark. I would much prefer some text which said on or off. Now I've already done a mix down, so we can go to the mastering mode to listen to the mix. It sounds okay here, but when I change the monitor select to send to, which is the mono mix, you can clearly hear the drums have almost disappeared. By the way, the input signal path also contains the dynamic effects, and these appear to work as well, so you may think of more uses for this. I've no doubt the input EQ and phase control will also work, but have not yet confirmed. I must say hats off to the Tascam designers, as this was all totally unexpected. And just in case this is a firmware thing, I'm running version 1.11 on the DP24 SD. Okay, hope that was useful. Bye for now.